Well, welcome to.
Oh, I know those videos from my own show. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I'm
Well,
jealous.
that is really pretty easy to do, and it gives you such a nice intro into it. But welcome, everybody who is joining us live from wherever you might be joining us. Let us know what's going on. Yeah, we're getting echoing, but that we'll just go past it. Let us know where you're joining us from where in the world you are. We are using a brand new tool. We're using StreamYard, which allows us to bring on those great videos and have all of our names and stuff posted. And now, those of you who are seeing us on YouTube, please subscribe. We are using Restream to do it all at the same time. So let us know if you're joining us live or if you're joining us on replay, where you are joining us from. So because this is really a brand new show, let me introduce myself. I am Kay Elizabeth Green. I am the author of the book Building Spiritual Muscle and founder of the Indigo Institute, where as a spiritual fitness coach, it is my joy, it is my pleasure to work with all of you highly sensitive, natural born leaders, which I call indigos. Create your best life now. And if it went ping when I said indigo, check out the comments and I'm going to put it up in the story info for those of you who are following us on replay. So if you're curious, it's indigo, that sounds like me, you can find out more information. And I am physically located in Nevada. I have joining me as my co-host all the way up in Canada, Coach Karen Fern. Karen, tell people a little bit about you, because this is a brand new start.
Yep. And so for those of you who have never heard of me, I'm Coach Karen Fern, your money mindset coach, and I help women really from 35 to 55 and above. Usually it's because they're starting a second career or maybe in your first, but find it financially difficult to really sustain you or to start or grow your business. I'm seen everywhere as Island Girl Hustle because I believe if you're not doing the hustle, you're not going anywhere making any money. Okay. And so those are the things I do. I really and truly help you organize your mind and make it work in such a way that is beneficial to you now and in the future. I myself have a couple of books, Little Dribbles, and it's really talking about starting you off small and bringing you into the bigger picture, and the conversational seller, and finding you. So there's a couple of books that I have that's happening too. We come every Wednesday, and as Liz says now, we're going to be streaming to several different places, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. And this week is May month, so we talk about Mayflowers, which means that it's bursting out and things are going great.
Well, yeah. And maybe we should catch everybody up on the fact that this year, the beginning of the year, we invited you to prepare for an adventure, to decide what you wanted to accomplish this year. And in January, we looked at all those barriers that kept us from starting. And then in February, we had to realize that if we love ourselves first was what we needed to do. And then in March, we did what? We did, March was, Karen, help me out.
I got my calendar to May because I'm a stickler for doing whatever I do. Is planting seeds for April. Sorry, I have the calendar here. So March was preparing for the adventure.
Yes, and then we did that, and last month we planted some seeds, but we know some storms came along while those seeds were there. So this month we are ready to really do the work to bring those seeds up. And as Karen said, the what she's going to be leading the discussion today that we're going to be chatting about. And please do let us know if you have any questions on this. But what is your financial story? So, Karen, exactly what do you mean by what is your financial story when we're looking at doing the work and bringing up the flowers?
Usually, our story is given to us, whether consciously or unconsciously. So I always love to do the questions versus telling you first. So I have two questions for you. The first is, who gave it to you? Meaning, who gave you your financial story? What kind of gift did you receive? And the second question, and we go back in and dive in. But the second question is, why are you still keeping it if it's not serving you? Okay. Who gave it to you? Why are you keeping it?
Well, I think our financial story is one, all stories are ones that we have accepted unless we've changed them. So we have to look at, how did our parents think about money, and what do those people around us think about money, and how you handle it. Some people are natural entrepreneurs. They grew up with families that stimulated their, hey, working for somebody else is not what you do. Other people felt that education was the way to do it, and so they pushed and had the thing. So our financial story, I believe, is really one that we've adopted from others. Ones that we've adopted for others. What about you?
And so when I say, what is your financial story? I'm really and truly asking the question. And I want you to think about it. Maybe you want to go discuss it with a sibling, a parent if they're still around, friends if they're still around that you know from way back when, because you might learn some things about yourself that you haven't even checked into.
What did you learn? What did you learn when you discussed yours?
Well, mine was always ongoing because I was those kind of kids who started talking forever about this sort of stuff. I didn't frame it this way, but for me, it was watching and seeing that they were never enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I grew around my family, my extended family. Most of them work with themselves, but they did good works, real quality works, but they never knew how to take it from it just being and feeding the family and turn into anything beyond that. It was just enough.
Well, that reminds me of the book that you are always sharing by Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that when we're raised, we may not told the story, but we formulate the story by what we see and the actions of those that are that we interact with. It pops in my mind. You ask, what is a financial story? I'm going to meet my niece after the show. And she grew up in New York, in Manhattan. And her financial story was always more, it was, oh, a $500 purse is nothing. And I remember when time when she first met my daughter-in-law, who is from,
El Salvador.
thank you very much. and she just couldn't even conceive, even though she had a lot, just paying that amount of money for it. So it those those are all things that we observe that create our financial picture or our financial story.
Yeah, because our financial story really is not about what people tell you. It's about what you see, what you soak up. The behaviors are way more um, impressioned on your mind than it is of what they talk about. I mean, the talk is there too, but what you're watching, what you're living with day in, day out, rarely. And so people are on both spectrum. Either people are very, people say greedy or conservative, or they're become spendthrifts because they don't want to feel like they don't have. So they'll buy a lot of things to feel like they do have. That doesn't mean one way or the other. And either is not good or bad. It's just the way you perceive your story and how you decide to live it.
And also the actions of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, people who are accustomed to always having their financial needs met expect always to have their financial needs met. And if you listen to them, they use a whole different type of language when they discuss money, when they talk about their finances. So all of that plays into what creates our financial story, I believe.
Excuse me, it really does. It really does. And so I'm back to the first question. If you've taken upon yourself and you have taken on what was given to you in terms of all the different ways I just described, then you live your life a certain way. And I can give an example, for certain people, they could only spend, this is so honestly true, $100 on something. Anything above that, whether they ever tell you or not, sends off this behavior. And then there's the people can spend 20,000 and not blink an eye. But if they went up to 100,000, then they blink. And so it just depends on what you're taking on and what's happening. And some people, it's really truly, they would need to go to the merge if you were to put $1 million in their lap. I mean, we joke about it online and we talk about if you had $1 million, what you would do, but you put into somebody's hand that can't handle that sort of money and they need to go to emerge immediately.
It's building muscles, because that's why people wonder why people can win the lottery and in less than a year have it all gone. But they couldn't even conceive of handling that amount of money. So for them, it was the same thing as having $2. If they were always broke, even though they got $1 million, they will go back to being broke. It is a mindset. And I think sometimes we want to hop to the $1 million before we've learned to take care of the 100. And once we learn how to take care of the 100, then we can increase it to 1,000, and then we can increase it. But sometimes not sometimes, I think a lot of times we pick up weight before we're ready for it.
True in a sense. But in the financial realm of things, I really like to tell people to start living the way you want to live. And how to do that. I teach that a lot in most of my courses. I teach how to really build from that big number. because I believe and truly believe it and I live it. If you don't live into what you want to be and want to see, it doesn't happen. You are stuck there because you don't believe you can. I have the Millionaires Club and I put the assignment up today talking exactly about that. You know it, you say it, but your mind know that you're lying. And the only way you convince you that it is true is you now have to live into that. So if you know you want to make $1 million, then your job is to do everything surrounding $1 million. So after a while, you convince you that it's okay. You're in a safe place. And in this safe place, you can make this $1 million. But if you're not in the safe place, your mind doesn't like it. So it keeps arguing and fighting you and saying, no, I'm comfortable at a grand. Do not move me from here. I'm comfortable here. I mean, it doesn't say it like this to you, so you're not hearing it. It's really saying all sorts of things. Go help my daughter. Go walk the dog. Go cook some food. Go mow the lawn. That's what's really stopping the process. Because when you're in process mode, when you're in content building, when you are developing a project or working on something that need all your time, that's going to bring you closer to what you're looking for and wanting to gain. All these other things come, take you over. And I'm just naming a few. You know yours, whomever gonna listen to this. And it pulls you away deliberately because it's saying to you, it's false, it's not gonna happen, and you're listening and you're, you know.
Well, we get overwhelmed. That's what I find with a lot of the people in my community. They have fantastic, big, great ideas. They have all the skills to do it. But what keeps them procrastinating is trying to eat the elephant all in one bite, opposed to doing it bite by bite by bite. For me, always what I teach, what I share is what my guides are working me through. And so I have been back to exercising one step at a time, one step at a time. And that has really moved me. I ask, what's the one step I can do today in order to move me closer to my goal? And I've used that with several of my clients to help them get over the overwhelm. Because when they looking at the big picture, it's like if I saw I had to go up that hill and I saw how far that hill was, I wouldn't go. But taking one step at a time. What's the one step that you can do today to, I would ask, to make your financial story like you want it to be? What's the one step just one step. We get so overwhelmed by taking too many. And then we can do and have time for the family. We can do and have time for fun, because if you're not having fun.
Got to have some fun in there. You have to have some fun in there. You have to think about adults, though. We want a lot of things to happen really fast. And so the one step is almost overwhelming as the big steps. And I don't think sometimes people understand that. Sometimes you're taking one step and you can't see where it's going to lead you to. So that also is frustrating and overwhelming. And I can say this because I had somebody say this to me. They're like, I am not a one-step pony. I hate knowing that this step is only going to take me to the other side. I want to know. So there's a two set of people, and you got to know who you're dealing with. And so you have to know who you are. And for me, I'm a big picture gal. So let me just put it out there. I got to know that when I take the flight, I am going to Tobago. I can't just get to the airport and don't know where I'm going. I have to know my destination. I'm that sort of a person. So I have to know I'm going to Tobago. So that when I know that I'm going to Tobago, then I sit down and I retrieve everything to get me to Tobago. So I teach that way. I teach the way of, if you want to make $1 million, here's all the things that it encompasses. But here's the one thing you're going to do this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're saying the same thing because, hey, I always ask, first of all, what do you want? What do you want? You have to have a clear idea. You got to have a clear destination. You want $1 million. You want to go to bed. You want a fit body. What do you want? You want a relationship. What do you want? Get clear. You have to, like you said, the big picture. What do you want? And not so much. And how do you want to feel when you get that? Because I think sometimes when we try to, well, depending on how you visualize, how your intuition comes to you, if you can feel it, how do you want to feel?
Feeling is so important. It's one of the biggest things that people don't really talk about. I notice on the online is just give me the practical steps so I can get there. The reason people are failing, the reason people business don't do anything, move anywhere and get anywhere, I want to tell you right now, is because you're not understanding the kind of feeling that triggers you into not doing. Liz loves to ask, what do you want? I ask, what are you willing to do to get what you want? Because I need to know what you're willing to do. Because if you're not willing to do, you're not getting what you want.
Hey, you have to know, what do you want? You got to have the passion behind it. And then, what I agree with you, what are you willing to do to get what you want? Because I could want to be in a size 10. I could want to have perky up top and a nice smooth bottom. I could want that, and I could know how I'm going to feel when I get it. But what am I willing to do? I'm not willing to give up my cake. I'm not. What am I willing to do? So when you know what you're willing to do, you can adjust the picture. And once you not drop the picture down, but you adjust the picture. Like maybe 1 million is not where I see myself yet, but I could see myself at 500. So let me adjust the picture a little bit so then I can map it out. I can come up with the strategies, because I believe you can systematically create the life you want. In my heart of hearts, I've always believed that. And if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to do the work. So what do you do if you look at your financial story, Karen, and it is not matching what you want it to be with this chapter of your life? What do you do about it?
You change it. You're not a tree. I'm going with, somebody says to the other end of the tree, I'm like, oh, you bet you're not a tree. Somebody got to have to move the tree for it to move. You're not a tree. If you're not a good writer, clip out papers. That's, this thought dawned on me last week. The reason, vision board that we talk about, and I love to talk about it, I actually have a course for $27 that I sell called the Vision Board Book. And one of the things that dawned on me, vision board, kids years ago and up to today will decorate their rooms with the things they want. That's why it's on their wall. They're envisioning it. Whether they understood or not, that's what they have done. I have done it in books. Whatever I wanted, it's there. Mm-hmm. I had this process where, and I returned to it last year, where everything that I want doing or the number, it's written in my book. I first had this idea and I started writing it down. I would write it down 3 times, the things that I want. Mm-hmm. I never wait around for what I want, but I'll write it down. I'll be aware of it. And then I get to the work doing it. There's no magic here. There's no magic. I write it down. I want to make, those days were $1,500 for my hair care. And I'll write it down 3 times. My cleaning company, I need to make, I think at the time was $2,200 a month. And that was net. And it was written down 3 times. And then whatever, I had like 3 businesses that I had a certain amount of income. Each business had to give me, and I'd write it down. When I leave that, I'll move aside and I'll write down all the steps, all the things it would take for me to do those things. If I didn't want to do them, I want to find ways on how it's still going to get done, because the number wouldn't change. And I can tell you, in 6 months, I watched the movement. This is no fluff, no hurry, no in 30 days. In 6 months, there was this shift that I was meeting the number, passing the number, double the number.
Hey, I totally agree with you. It works when you have a definite destination. Now, you say it isn't any magic, but I would hesitate to say once you set in motion, once there are forces that gather around to bring you the ideas, to connect you with the people, to bring you the right information. That's how the law works. Once you decide what you want, then I'll call it magic. Then the magic happens, but the magic happens in form of coming to us, but we have to be receptive and do it. The magic happens with me connecting with a trainer, but if I don't lift my leg, nothing's going to happen. So, yeah, so
I agree.
if you want to change your financial story, you can do that. Having a vision board helps, and we are now at Book Nook. Book Nook. Well, we are both really readers. I totally believe that readers are leaders. If you learn more, you earn more. So at each show, we share with you a book that we think might help you. And since we are just talking about um, the vision board, I want to introduce you to feng shui. Feng shui, it's the Western guide to feng shui, room by room. You may have run into this little Chinese woman that talks about joy and your thing should give you joy. But you can set up your environment to, as Karen says, pace around, bring in the energy of what you want. So if you're curious if you are vibrating on the right level, or you want to increase your vibration, or you just want to find out what it means to what feng shui is, check out this book by, let me see, Tara Catherine Collins, Feng Shui, The Western Guide to Feng Shui. It'll help you really set up your environment to be conducive to bringing in that $1 million or whatever it is that you might want in your life. Well, almost time. I do want to invite all of you to, as my granddaughter says, like, subscribe down there, or like it if you're on Facebook, subscribe if you're letting us know on YouTube. Let's see who. Hey, how are you? So that we let us know that you're here.
Embarrassing.
uh, because it is our goal to help you live the best life now by bringing you good information and inspiration. Karen, any last words?
Yes, rewrite that money story. Don't let it be, especially for the ones that are pulling you down. Change things up, get it out. Don't let that stand in your way. You can rewrite your financial story. It was given to you, so you can send it right back. Today, I talk about if they put it on your plate and you don't want it, you just scrape it off. So if that was given to you, just scrape it off, just get rid of it. I can't tell you how many people I've done a lot of series on the chronicles of different clients that I've had that help. And those really talk about people who down and out and still see the light through coaching with me and moving forward. And soon to come is my Island Girl podcast. So look out for Island Girl Hustle podcast soon to drop later this month. We're here every Wednesday, and I'm thinking Liz is going to have us do the stream everywhere. So keep an eye out for us. She's going to be in the lead next week, and she's going to talk about stuff that is about flooring. That's what we're talking about this month. It's May month, and we want to see you moving. Listen, the ants are out, okay? If you ever want to figure out some stuff, watch at the ant. It didn't matter how many times you crush them, spill water, spray them, they're coming back if they did not die. So if you're writing copy and it's not good, keep writing. If you are teaching something and you don't have, you're not sure how to do it, keep doing it until it gets better. If you need help, reach out to myself. I'm a money mindset coach, or Liz, which, she told you what she does, and she's going to tell you again when I'm finished speaking. And seek us out and come talk to us, because we give a free session before we dive in. We need to know we are fit to work together. So there's no point if we're not a fit. All right? Take care.
Okay. And thanks, Karen. And Karen can really help you with getting a handle on your money picture. And for those of you, like I said, who have those big dreams, but you find yourself getting overwhelmed, I can, because of the energy, and I truly believe that we are spiritual beings, and that the energy affects us. And the more the first person we need to lead is ourselves. And you got to know what information it is. So if you want to go a little bit further, check out the book, check out Blessing and Curse, because many of those gifts that you have are blessings. They're not cursed. You're not cursed. Not at all. So please do remember to share it out. Let us know you've listened to us. We'll see you next Wednesday. We are taking action steps, and I'll give you a couple of action steps that you can take to create the life of your dreams. So until next time, we want to remind you that we are Girls Chat, and join us every Wednesday for more. Have a great one.